Hey everybody, it's the Mad Master here. I'm doing another video, and it's kind of a little rant, of course. And just before I do this video, let me just take a step back and just say I'm neither condemning nor encouraging what I'm about to talk about. And I speak as a neutral party. I'm not a medical expert. I'm not a sociologist. I do read a lot of books, but that said, I'm also willing to admit all my purported faults and failures with regards to the current pandemic. So I titled this video "The Death of Social Distancing" because I feel like even here in Wisconsin, in the town that I'm in, where we're supposed to do certain things, nobody's doing them. And it's not really I'm not blasting these people that are not doing these things, but I'm just pointing out that overall, social distancing is over. I mean, and I don't mean that there's big crowds of people going to concerts without masks or whatever. I'm not encouraging that. I'm not saying that that's a good thing or whatever. I'm just saying, for the most part, people are contradicting themselves in one way or the other. Even the most ardent, paranoid, OCD people that are scared of the virus, the C virus. And I even know people that, 3 months ago, they would have been fucking. I mean, yeah, there was a lockdown, of course, and we don't have the lockdown anymore. We're in phase 2 in this particular town, or a college town, but it's like people that I knew, even family members that would have been, that I think who would have been have a lot of anxiety issues, I'll just say that, have had the opposite opinion than what I've expected about some of this stuff. I'm speaking of that as a compliment because I was surprised by certain people. So, what do I think is at the root of this ignoring the social niceties, not niceties, but the ignoring the guidelines. I mean, so let me first of all say what the guidelines are, and then we can go into why people are ignoring the guidelines. So, for one, what we're encouraged to do is to, if we're not supposed to, we're still, encouraged not to meet with people that not in our own household. And if we do, we're supposed to be outside, 6 feet apart, in masks. And even though they open the gyms, bars are starting to open, sort of. Some bars are a little more lax than others. I don't know what I think about that, because there was some controversy with one of the openings of the bars, and there was some people that there was a little bit of a slight spike in cases, but still it's going pretty well in this particular town. And of course, a lot of the people are young that are getting the cases, so they're not going to be necessarily part of the death toll or whatever, which I'm going to talk more about some of this stuff in a future video that I'm working on. This is going to be my, I'm not saying this will be my final video about this subject, but it'll be it'll kind of be like just everything I laid it out on the surface, what I think, what I question, So I'm not going to talk about some of this stuff. I'm just talking about the social distancing. I mean, my friend had someone over last night, a friend, not a lover, but he says he's not going to go to bars, for an indeterminate amount of time. Still, he's not supposed to have friends over. We had friends over, I've been hanging out with friends here and there. I hang out with a group of friends every Monday night playing games. We're not outside with masks, spraying disinfectant on the dice every 5 seconds, I mean, I don't know, I don't know if it's just the fact that these guidelines are kind of silly when, I guess people, I don't know if it's just people, I guess it's if people aren't dying on the street, maybe people won't follow the guidelines. People if we don't see, if it would be like millions of people that were being affected by this. I mean, infected by this and actually having the worst results, then maybe we would have people wear masks outside at just in case if they're meeting friends or relatives or whatever. So that said, it's kind of ridiculous that these expectations are so confusing, and it's not really clear what we're supposed to do in the future, and that's a complaint, because it's like, what are we supposed to do? And people are dating, people are doing more than that, and unlike the articles I've read about how you're supposed to wear a mask on a date and have sex with a mask on, nobody's fucking doing that. I mean, how do you do foreplay with a fucking mask on? I mean, it's silly. Some of this stuff is kind of silly, and I'm not saying it's not. If it was straight in the hot spots right now, I'd be like, oh shit, I'm just gonna lock and shelter in place, whatever. But as we're opening up, especially here in this state, people are ignoring stuff more and more. And I see masks, but I see a lot of people without masks. One thing about masks, I might do a separate video about masks too, is there might be a couple, a man and a wife, whatever, or they're gay or whatever. They're a couple together holding hands. One has a mask on and one doesn't. Do they say, well, I love you, but you're killing grandma? I thought of a joke yesterday. And it's pretty dumb, but it needs a little work. I think I said it differently originally. I was like, what was it? So, what do they say that if you're high on drugs and drink a couple Corona beers, you'll and you overdose on the drugs. You know what they'll say? That you were too drunk on Corona. I don't know. It's kind of stupid. It needs work. But anyways, it's pretty fucked up. So I don't know what they expect, the people in power or, these medical professionals. I mean, are we going to really have people social distance for 5 years until there's a vaccine? It's just, social distancing is dead, because the protests were kind of they jumped the shark during the protests. Mask wearing is not dead. There's still mask wearing. But social distancing, as far as like people not meeting and get together, meeting up, even mask wearing in private gatherings, that's not happening as far as what I've observed. I go downtown, I drive downtown sometimes. Nobody's fucking wearing. I mean, if they're in park grouped together, they're not wearing masks. If they're walking around to go to the grocery store, yeah, you might wear masks. So where do you draw the line? This is the most liberal city in the Midwest as far as college towns go. I probably just doxed myself by saying that, but I don't give a fuck. Whatever. It's funny because politicizing the mask thing or the social distancing thing to some extent, it's just a clusterfuck of insanity. And I've noticed, and I've stopped watching some of these news outlets and the political outlets like Young Turks, for example. I can't watch it anymore. They're totally hypocritical and totally up their own ass of sensationalism and hysteria and panic. And I know California is not doing well, but still, that the way that they go about that whole thing is just ridiculous. So it's just total fucking lunacy, and I'm done with them. Unfortunately, I watched them a lot the last 8 years or so, or 9 years. I used to be a loyal follower of the Young Turks. I can't fucking watch it. And it's not even that they're not telling facts. Of course, there's always a spin with the facts, but it's just the shaming of people that aren't social distancing or wearing masks, when I see plenty of people defy that are to the left of the Young Turks. I mean, the shaming has to end for sure. So that's one thing. So I think the reason why social distancing is dead, which it is, let's just face it. In certain areas, okay, I have relatives that are above 60 or 65, right? And some of them do still social distance and wear masks when they meet with friends or family. And that's understandable. But for the most part, anybody I know under the age of 60, even people above 60, don't do it. And I think I don't think it's a testament to, it's a testament to the failure of our government, our medical professionals, our healthcare system. I'm going to say healthcare system because, for one, our healthcare system is so profit driven that, and say what you will, what their solution to that is, Medicare for all or whatever. You know, it's so profit driven that people do not trust medical professionals. And so, even if they're right, like the mask thing, I know that it does stop droplets and stuff. So, but the fact of the matter is, people do not trust anybody. You know, in this, people are so cynical. And it's summer, and the deaths are going down. Cases are going up, but deaths are going down overall. I don't know about the next few weeks. Who knows? But the fact of the matter is, social distancing is dead. It was an unreasonable expectation to have people think that these people had to think. You know, I was going to say, if there was a lockdown immediately in February, that's it. 1 month lockdown. Go to the grocery store. That's it. You know, extreme, almost militaristic, authoritarian fuckface lockdown. That would have been one thing. Maybe that would have been it. Trump could have done it. Maybe, probably not. But if we would have done that, we wouldn't be having this conversation. So much confusion, as I've talked about in previous videos. But in America, people aren't going to social distance. People are too social. America's a very social country. It's not an East Asian country, and it's not some kind of Scandinavian country where we've been social distancing all our lives. I don't like people. It's like fucking whatever. And then we're narcissistic too. That's where the mask thing comes in, because people don't want to fucking wear a mask. And the mask thing has become so politicized, which is pretty ridiculous. But I don't want to talk about that during this video, even though I am. But yeah, the social distancing thing, I don't know what they expect. Things are opening up. There's concerts, even there's small patio concerts coming back, and there's stuff like that. So I think the point is I think people have to live their lives. We've been told so many different things about this shit. It's not on the level that they originally said it was. It is not, no matter what the media says. I'm just saying, it's not misinformation. It's CDC that says this. It's World Health Organization says this. It's not as bad as they. So I'm not. Hopefully YouTube won't flag my video because I'm telling the fucking truth. It might be 0.4 to maybe 0.1 mortality rate, but then they're saying with the asymptomatic cases it could be as low as 0.26. So that's all I got to say. Pretty much. I mean, be careful, but if you're not going to social distance with your best friend or your girlfriend that lives across town, then don't feel guilty about it. I mean, it's so ridiculous it's so conflicted and so chaotic with this whole thing, how America's handled it, that don't blame other people, don't shame other people. I shamed some of my friends early on in the pandemic. I was an asshole because some of them were still getting together for gaming nights during the lockdown. I was like, my God, blah blah blah. More than likely nothing's going to happen. It could, but we're doing pretty well, and that's all.